J.R.R. Tolkien, a masterclass world builder and storyteller, and when it comes to the heroes of Middle-earth, he pulled out all the stops. Gandalf, Frodo, Gimli, Legolas, Aragorn, all Lord of the Rings fans recognize these beloved names, and they'll be able to point out their favorite characters from the books or movies. Many of us can even quote some, if not all, of their famous lines. What if I told you you had the opportunity to meet and adventure alongside some of these legends from Middle-earth in an MMORPG? Well, you actually can. That's right, Lord of the Rings Online makes this childhood dream a reality. Real quick, I just wanted to say thank you to all those who have subscribed and are supporting the channel. We are so close to reaching 4,000 hours of watch time, which is incredible. However, as it stands right now, only 1.8% of viewers are currently supporting the channel. I know it may not seem like much to you, but it would mean the world to me if you take the time to click on the subscribe button to join our community and support the channel. Thanks guys. In this video, we continue our journey across Middle-earth, and we do end up meeting some Lord of the Rings legends along the way. If you haven't had the chance to watch the first couple videos, pause the video, give those a watch, and get caught up. Otherwise, let's hop back into the story. This is my continued journey in Lord of the Rings Online in 2024. In the previous episode, we left off with successfully rescuing Aberthal from the evil Dourhan dwarves, preventing an all-out war between the race of elves and dwarves. But he also told us that Skorgrim and his goblin army are still close at hand. We return to Legolas, and he first thanks us for recommending a visit to the doctors. Turns out, he's recently been experimenting with a variety of different mushrooms in Middle-earth, and he ate a bad batch. Back to the quest at hand. We must do what we can to thin the goblin ranks, so we're sent south to find Ingolfur outside of Rath Tareg. He tasks us with shooting some arrows into the hearts of 16 goblins. I ask him if he's been spending time around Cardaver lately, and he just gives me a puzzled look. Never mind. We finish killing the goblins, along with some spiders and rodents for side quests, reach level 12, and return to the dwarf for further instruction. He says, excellent. Getting rid of those 16 goblins is exactly what we needed to keep the goblin army at bay. Now we won't need to worry about them until the coming spring. So I ask, are you sure? 16 goblins doesn't really seem like much at all. I could take out some more if you'd like. But he replies, no, just the 16 will do. All right. So I make my way back towards Legolas and become completely enamored with this beautiful Middle-earth night sky. Check that out. Absolutely gorgeous. Now this next part of the story is especially satisfying for all of you Lord of the Ring junkies. You see, the animosity between elves and dwarves reaches back all the way to the First Age, and apart from some key historical events, the culture of elves and dwarves stands in stark contrast to one another, often leading to pride and prejudice towards the opposing race. But in this instance, we get to experience a rare moment where elves and dwarves ally together to fend off a common enemy and protect the land of Ered Luin. We tell Legolas we're ready, and we spawn in next to Aberthal. With the help of our friend Athel, we mow down the goblin hordes that threaten our home. Again, I have to point out that Lord of the Rings Online does an excellent job of bringing characters from previous quests back into the story, reinforcing the idea that the journey and quests you complete along the way aren't just random or busy work. They're a cohesive part of the story. I'm forming friendships with key characters, causing them to carry a lot of weight. We continue through the instance, and near the end, find Cardaver wounded on the ground, warning us that it's a trap. Skorgrim shows himself and manages to escape, revealing that his true purpose was simply to weaken Ered Luin. He tells us that war is coming, and soon all of Middle-earth shall burn. After finishing off the remaining goblins, we speak with Aberthal and get to watch another cinematic cutscene.
Saruman's treachery has delayed me too long. I can only hope that Frodo and Sam have left the Shire. Without my aid, their road will be a perilous one. Frodo must rely upon the Rangers and your prowess to see him to the end.
And this is the moment I realize I'm about to meet one of the greatest Lord of the Rings legends of all time. Legolas tells us we must travel to Brie town to find his captain, a ranger they call Strider. Oh man, I'm legit so excited about this. But you remember how I said you find yourself saying, oh wow, that's really far. A lot? Yeah, this was very far. I looked at the map to find Brie, but it wasn't there. So I zoomed out further, and there it was. At first I thought, oh, it's just the next town over. Nope, you actually have to travel through 2 other regions just to get there. And no, guess what? The mobs there aren't scaled to match your level. So here's me trying to take on a level 23 orc. Yeah, I didn't stand a chance. There must be some sort of mechanic in Lord of the Rings Online that prevents lower level players from venturing into higher level zones, because this dude is straight out of the Matrix. He deflects and parries almost all of my attacks, so I end up just running away. Well, thankfully, I've learned my lesson from that. Heck no, I'm not gonna be disheartened that easily. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, run away! Man, those Shire bears do not mess around. I barely managed to escape with my life. Now I'm not going to show the entirety of my travels because it takes a long time to get to Brie. Ironically though, going through the Shire regions was one of my favorite experiences thus far, and I actually made a short video about one of the taverns I came across. I also made a quick visit to Bag End, another big highlight of my time in Lord of the Rings Online. And oh look, the Brandywine Bridge! No way, this is so cool! I'm following the footsteps of Frodo and the other hobbits. The fact that this bridge exists in Middle Earth and I get to cross it, the sense of immersion is just through the roof right now. I make a quick stop in Buckland and venture through the old forest, but I am not at all prepared for what happens next. Tom Bombadil. You can't be serious right now. For those of you who don't know, Tom is a beloved character from the original book trilogy that Peter Jackson excluded from the movies. A lot of people were extremely disappointed with this decision, but we get to finally meet him in Lord of the Rings Online. Tolkien purposely wrote Tom as a very mysterious character. He is very powerful, holding an unusual connection to the powers of nature. But unlike the rest of Middle-earth, the One Ring has no effect on him. And oh yes, his theme song in Lord of the Rings Online is probably the most beloved and well-known tune that Chance Thomas composed. We will return to his house later in the story, but for now, onward to Brie. We finally arrive, and again, I just can't get over the developer's meticulous design for the differing towns that represent the various races across Middle-earth. Brie is exactly what I would expect from the human race. A quaint town with medieval architecture, cobblestone roads, and a rustic charm. And oh, did I mention where we're heading? That's right, the Prancing Pony. I'm overflowing with excitement at this point. We speak to the tavern keeper and he directs us to Strider's room. All right, where is he? Where is he? We actually do have to run around a bit to find him, but there he is! Oh my gosh, it's Aragorn! That's so crazy. We get to interact with him. He tells us we were brave to stand against Skorgrim. Aw shucks, thanks Aragorn. But he needs our courage once again. The evil dwarf indeed fled to Brie and is working alongside the captain of the Nine. Strider thinks we can figure out their plans by infiltrating a nearby Blackwold camp, so we tell him we're ready to go. We're brought into an instance and tasked with accompanying Torthen to the main gate. We start mowing through all the Blackwood guards, and thankfully this time my companion didn't skip cardio day. Eventually, we find Skorgrim interrogating an informant about me. Whoa, that's kind of cool. So at the start of the game, I'm just a nobody, but as we progress, the word spreads about my accomplishments, and I'm now deemed a threat by the powers of darkness. That's some phenomenal story progression. Well done, Lord of the Rings Online. Skorgrim tries to take us out, but we prevail, and oh crap, we come face to face with the Nazgul. Before taking their leave, they tell us that Amdir is now a servant of Sauron. I'm not entirely sure of the importance of this guy, but he completes his transformation and we're forced to take him down. As he falls, Torthen says, "I'm sorry, Amdir, be at peace." I wish I had a little more context about who this was, but we're then shown another cinematic cutscene. We return to Strider's room and, hey, get out of here. This is my special moment with Aragorn. He gives us another task, speak with Constable Underhill in the adjacent village of Combe. We're teleported to the town and get distracted by a bunch of side quests, and I mean very distracted. At one point, I was all the way back in Buckland, completing some random quests for the tavern keeper. After reaching level 14, we find Constable Underhill, investigate the Blackwold's hideout, watch as Skorgrim stabs their leader, discover that the gang was trying to get out of their deal with the forces of darkness, and watch the leader die a very dramatic death. And of course, Skorgrim escaped yet again. We return to the Prancing Pony, speak with Strider, and he tells us the Nazgul attack the tavern, targeting the 4 hobbits he was trying to protect. Now, we're being sent to Buckland to meet up with Langland, but since I'm an experienced MMO player, I think it's a better idea to take a swift travel to a random location on the map, and oh good, we're back on the opposite side of the Shire. So now we have to use this stable master to travel all the way back to the Buckland area. Langland was wounded when he tried to take a stand against the Nazgul, so we help him complete a few different quests and then return to Strider. This is where we say goodbye to him, at least for now. as he sends us into the Old Forest to find someone that might be able to help against the forces of darkness. Oh, and yes, we do encounter Gandalf in a future episode. That's going to conclude this portion of the story. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for future content. As I mentioned before, there's more Lord of the Rings Online to come, as well as another MMO on the horizon. Hope you have a splendid rest of the day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.